Hello and welcome back to the Joyful Soul Creates. Charlotte here with a card for day 3 of MFT Summer School, which is about symmetry, and I thought I would make a gatefold card for this. So I'm just showing how I made the card base. I started with a piece of A4 paper, but if you start with 8.5 by 11 paper, which is American size, then you just need to cut it in half to get your 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece. And then rather than scoring at 4.5, which is what you would do to make a side fold A2 card, we're going to be scoring in at 2 1/8 at both ends, and this will create the gatefold portion of our card. Once you've got that scored, you just need to fold the outer edges in and crease those well with your bone folder. And here you can see how that makes the gatefold. I did find that I had a bit of overlap between my flaps on the card, and this is presumably just slight mismeasuring, human error. So I did put it back in my trimmer and trimmed a little bit off, and that was better but not quite good enough. And I wanted to make sure the folds met nicely in the middle. So I decided the easiest way to do this would be to fold the card together and have the longer piece underneath the short piece. And then I'm very carefully using my craft knife to go along the edge of the top flap and just gently going along that so I can remove the excess piece from underneath. You don't want to press too hard, because if you do, you will cut through into the back part of your card base, which I actually did very slightly on this, but I end up putting an insert in the middle of my card anyway, which covers it up, so it's not a big deal. And once I'd finished doing that, my pieces of my card lined up nicely, and I was able to continue with making the design. So as I said, this is Symmetry, and I decided I would make a Get Well card with the Band Aid dies from MFT. So I cut the larger of the dies 5 times from some cream coloured cardstock, just some snippets of card. And then I also used the larger of the hearts that comes in the same set and cut 5 of those, so I have one for each of the band-aids, or plasters if you're British like me. And then I can put the hearts on the centres of each of the band-aids using my Tombow Monomalte liquid glue. I was going to use my quick stick tool to pick up the hearts and put them in place, but then I decided it would be just as easy to use my tweezers. So that's what I ended up doing instead. Now I want to position the band-aids or plasters onto my card base, and I'm going to try and get them relatively evenly spaced. Probably not quite perfect, but that doesn't matter as long as it looks how you want it to look. With the gatefold design, you want to make sure you're not adhering whatever images you're putting on the front over the center line completely, because you still want to be able to open it. So I'm just putting my adhesive onto one side of each of the plasters. I use double-sided tape and then also some Glossy Accents just to make sure it's nice and strong. The plasters or band-aids do have a kind of pierced texture in them, and I made sure not to put any of the liquid glue behind that because I didn't want it to seep through. So I'm actually going to alternate how I adhere these down. So for the central one, as well as the top and bottom ones, I'm putting the adhesive onto the right hand side only. And then for the remaining 2, I will put it on the left hand side only. And I just thought this added some extra interest to the design and makes a kind of interlocking feature almost. It doesn't hold the card closed like a traditional interlocking gatefold card would, but it does have that kind of interlocking look to it because you're coming in from both sides, if that makes sense. You will see what I mean when the card is complete. Once I had all of the pieces adhered down, I did put some acrylic blocks onto it just to hold everything in place whilst the glue set. And then off screen, I stamped a Get Well Soon sentiment, which is from the cat's pajamas, with Altenew's ruby red ink to bring in the red of the hearts. And I put that panel into the inside of the card base. And here you can see how it looks when it's finished, and you can see what I mean about that interlocking design. So I hope you found this interesting. If you did, please do leave a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you've ever made a gatefold card. I'm hoping to be back with day 4 and 5 of MFT Summer School tomorrow at the latest. If you're not yet a subscriber, you can subscribe by clicking the button showing on screen now, and there are a couple of other videos if you would like to see more from me straight away. Otherwise, I'll thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!